There are four kinds of ecosystem services: provisioning, regulating, supporting, and the cultural. And we pretty much talk about most of this in the last portion of the lecture. And so cultural includes the recreational, research, spiritual, religional services in the nature, and the supporting services are continuous service the environment provides. For example, the soil formation, photosynthesis, nutrient recycling. It's hard for us to say when, at which moment those services stop in the nature, right? That continues for many years before humans, and will continue many years from this moment on. So that's a continuous support of the nature. If you want to see more examples and details, you can browse my Google Slides for each sections, for each services, to get an idea to understand what are really ecological services. So now let's get back to our lecture. I think a lot of people, the difficult part for a lot of people to understand the value of the environment, because they are not labeled, with prices. Like we go grocery store and we know how much a merchandise is worthy of how many dollars. But ecosystem services are very valuable to us. They are not just directly assessed in dollar values. So this table shows the data a few years ago. So this is the old data, and I suspect it will be more. The ecosystem services will be worthy more dollar values. Okay, so this example, soil formation is worthy of 17.1 trillion in United States. So that's a lot of money. And for example, flood and storm protection in a coastal area like Houston, that is kind of very important to us, right? That is $1.1 trillion in United States. This is including all the coastal areas and some of the areas that are prone to flooding. So totally, each year in the United States, the total value of ecosystem services equals to $33.3 trillion. And I still think that's underestimated. And the two examples would be the coral reef. Worldwide is worthy of $30 billion. And the pollination, the honeybee, okay, that is worthy of $400 billion per year worldwide. Unfortunately, those important services were threatened by the current environmental conditions. For example, the coral reefs are dying. Over half of the coral reefs in the world were in danger. And the honeybees, a lot of honeybees die because of the climate change, because we use the fertilizers. Okay, so that all in turn will punish us, right, in economic value. So that's a bit about ecosystem services. Now I switch gear to human impact on Earth. This is the era of Anthropocene. That means human-centered. Okay, so you can see the lights at night in this continent, and this is impact of human on the planet. I really like this page in chapter 1, and I label each behavior impact on the planet, human behavior impact on the planet. Increasing carbon dioxide, decreasing the biodiversity, over-harvesting the ocean, like overfishing, increasing acidity of ocean, freshwater usage, overdraft of the groundwater, consumption of plants, like overconsumption, and which is not sustainable. I want you to overview this picture, and it almost include all the hot topics for nowadays, what we humans are doing to the planet. For example, this is terrestrial habitat loss. Okay, the deeper color is the worst area. More than 90% of the forests are gone, and they are close to the equator. Okay, and this is a Amazon forest, right? This is like way too heartbreaking for me just talk about it in a few sentences. So you can see this is our human impact on the planet, and human impacts on ocean. So the different color shows the different intensity of the impact, and again the red color is a high impact. That includes the pollution, okay, and the over-harvesting of the sea creatures, overfishing. So you can see there's almost none of the places on the planet human cannot reach. And this is, of course, really bad. And so I want you to ponder, to reflect in your living environment, how are human activities impacting the local environment you are living in? This used to be a discussion post, but because of the compact schedule, I didn't put in the discussion. Okay, but think about what kind of impacts human activities have in your living environment, directly impacting you or your neighborhood. Okay, the next topic is sustainability, how it relates to human development. Our textbook uses salmons as a very good example. So the Pacific salmon began their lives in freshwater system before migrating to the ocean for a period of time, and then returned to their native streams and rivers to reproduce. And when I was living in New York State, I used to see those salmons swimming back to the freshwater creeks, and they lay their eggs and they'll die. Try to fish them, but I was not successful, but it was quite a splendid view. So those native people, they really understand not killing all the salmons is important to their harvest the next year. So this is a very good example what is sustainability. So one way to explain is we meet our needs. Sustainability is our current generation meet our needs without depleting the future generations' needs. And also we can say the way in the slides, managing natural resources that allow them to be used but not destroyed for future generations is defined as sustainability. I used to test this in the exam, but no more. But I want you to understand what is sustainability is meet our current needs without depleting the future needs. Another example is in this college, the builders are really smart. When they build this beautiful hall, they already start planting the forest 500 years later. That's another good example of sustainability. So I put the concepts here, and it has three very important components in this concept, which is social, environment, and economic. They can exist together. They do not have to be in conflict with each other all the time. And also, we call it healthy environment, vibrant economy, and equitable society.